Hi Libra, this is your weekly reading for January 15th to the 21st. And I pulled the cards from the Colette Baron Reed Good Tarot. We're going to use the Rider-Waite Tarot for clarification this week. And at the bottom of the deck, we have the Nine of Air. Oh, by the way, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. And that's it. Okay. So the Nine of Fire at the bottom of the deck talks about somebody who may have been in the battle for a while. You might feel like you've been beaten up. And you are cautious of your next steps because you see how she's holding out these stars here, so like sort of like a lantern, right? Also representing like what you've learned from these battles. You know, what you have learned from your experiences and what you've gone through and what you know doesn't work, or you know, sort of getting beaten up by life a bit. So you're proceeding cautiously. It's a good week to proceed cautiously. Okay. Now, to start off, we have the Empress. The Empress is talking, she's like the creator of all. This is like the mother of us all, the Empress. This is fertility herself. You know, the Empress is constantly giving birth to new life. Fertile with new ideas. Perhaps some of you are mothers. I'm sure that some of you are. The way I do my readings is mostly from a perspective of growth, personal growth. Of course, if you wanted a personal reading and you have questions, I'd be happy to answer those questions for you in that reading. But this is the general reading, okay? So this may or may not resonate with everybody, but I'm going to tell you what I'm seeing here. So next we have the Two of Fire. And this is about, you know, we're moving from that Ace of Fire, that opportunity, or that perhaps that spark that got you moving, right? And this is a time of planning. This is a time of perhaps the beginning stages of putting this into whatever it is that you've been working on, putting something into motion, if you will. Now this is, I'm not really reading like past, present, future. It's a weekly reading, so it's just a general spread. But it could be something that you already have started, okay? Now, next we have the High Priestess. And the High Priestess comes along, she talks about hidden knowledge, secrets, perhaps just representing your own spirit, your own soul. Getting in touch with that part of yourself, that deeper part of yourself. Okay, and with the goddess, sorry, with the Empress and the High Priestess here together, it brings forth to me like goddess energy. Okay, this is like very feminine, divine feminine energy coming through here in this reading, okay? Sadly, what we have is the Three of Air. And don't feel bad, Libra, because you know what? I think two other signs got this card in their reading, if not another one. I think it was Cancer and Aries or something like that. So maybe there's some disappointments coming this week. Maybe there's something happening in the world that is going to break our hearts. Or perhaps it's just the energy of the week where we're feeling brokenhearted. Things not going as planned. Perhaps being betrayed by people, which happens all the time. I mean, betrayal doesn't surprise me anymore. I come to expect it at this point, but that's... Sorry to be negative. Let me get my blue lace agate while I do this reading so I can be... After that, we have the Tower. So this is illusions come crumbling down. Perhaps our beliefs, ego. It could even be something outside of you that you don't really have control over. You know, some event is coming and it's going to take you by surprise. even if you feel like you have an inkling of an idea that something is coming, whatever it is still going to probably have an impact of surprise on you. Or perhaps this already has happened, because it's under the Two of Fire. So perhaps when you went and moved forward with some plan, things didn't go the way you thought they were going to go. Or maybe things haven't been working out the way you had hoped that they would work out. And maybe that's why your heart is broken. You're feeling sad, dejected, rejected, unwanted. And I think that whatever this is, though, it's leading you to a better place. Because next we have the Messenger of Earth. And the Messenger of Earth it's a solid energy. It's the Knight of Pentacles. It could represent a message coming through, but can also talk about something that is slow moving, something that is moving toward you or in your life, or something that you're working on that is like slow and steady. It talks about reliability, dependability, and stability. You know, having like solid ground. Like, it's very different from this Tower, which is really like shaky ground. So it's like once these unstable foundations come crumbling down, it leaves room. It leaves room for those more stable, solid actions or plans to take their place. And we end with the Queen of Air. And that's the Queen of Swords. So that represents you, Libra. And perhaps this is about you coming into your own, you know, learning from... Because often the Queen of Air is seen as like a bitter woman. But that's not really true. I mean, she's been through her share of heartbreak. She's seen a lot of this pain and suffering, especially for Libra, because Libras, I think, you know, depending on the type of person that you are, I get, you know, not all Libras are the same, but we are that justice. And actually, the Justice card came flying out when I was shuffling. So, and this is a very unjust world. So, and people don't always treat you, you know, perhaps you put in this effort and you try to be, you know, have manners and show reciprocity and treat people fairly, and you don't get that back. And then they wonder why the Queen of Air gets this reputation of being like cold-hearted. And she's not really cold-hearted. She's just like, I'm going to tell you the truth. Because you need to hear the truth. You need to hear the truth. It's what you need. You know, we can't be living in these illusions with these, you know, there's no solid foundation under there, and that tower just comes crumbling down at any time. And the Queen of Air is also like, she's for justice. She's for truth. She is comfortable standing in her own 2 feet. And she puts her rational side ahead of her emotional side. Not just because the Three of Air, you know, the Three of Air, the heartbreak and the sadness and the betrayal, but also because after a while you learn that emotions can cloud your thinking. And the emotions do not cloud her thinking. She's like, she would be like your Judge Judy, or like a lawyer, you know, but an honest one, and one that is for truth and integrity, and she's going to tell you like it is, whether you like to hear it or not. So I do want to pull out a card on this Three of Air. So can you clarify the Three of Swords in this reading, please? Let's clarify this Three of Swords. Clarify the Three of Swords. All right, 2 cards came flying out, so we'll take them. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, we got the 2 of Wands, just like I said. There's the 2 of Fire, and we got that again. We actually got the 2 of Fire with the Death card. So whatever it is that you were moving toward, whatever your plans were that you had, that you wanted to, you know, that you were inspired perhaps to go and create, something came along and just, you know, there wasn't a solid foundation. It wasn't perhaps the right time. It wasn't the best laid plans. Perhaps it wasn't a good idea. And maybe now, like you see how she's on this giraffe, and perhaps you were seeing things clearly. Maybe other people just weren't responding to you the way you needed them to. And whatever this is, you know, it's coming to an end. And this is not to be afraid. Don't be afraid of the Death card, because, I mean, it can, in very rare cases, it could represent death. But for the most part, it represents the end of something, a transformation, and a new beginning. Just like, you know, a pregnant woman gives birth after 9 months, that's, in some ways, it's the death of the pregnancy and the birth of the baby. So I like to look at it like that. And with the 3 of Swords there and the Death card, it's like there's some kind of an ending happening. And whatever this ending is with this 2 of Wands there, it's, you know, you had the world in your hands, and now you just have to move on. You know, move on and start something new in a much wiser way. You know, learning from the bad experiences that you've had. Now you know what the illusion is and what's not the illusion. You know better how to build a stable foundation for whatever it is that you were doing. And it doesn't mean that, you know, if you were following your heart and trying to put something of yourself into the world, it doesn't mean that you're not going to do that anymore. It's just saying that maybe the way in which you were going about it is coming to an end. Let me get a clarifier on the 2 of Fire. Let's clarify this 2 of Fire. Please clarify the 2 of Wands here. Yeah. Yep. Basically, like I said again, like this work that you were doing that came from this spark, right? You felt, perhaps you felt divinely inspired to do something, you know, and you've been waiting for your harvest to come in, but it's not coming in. There isn't going to be a harvest. That's what it's looking like to me. And I know that's not what you want to hear, and that's why the 3 of Swords is there, because that's just the way it is. And there's sometimes that's just the, you know, we can't do everything about. We can't always get what we want, even if it breaks our heart. So I'm going to pull one Wisdom of the Trees Oracle. We have one card of guidance for Libra for this 3rd week of January. Please bring us one card for additional insight or guidance into this week. Please give us one card to finish out this reading. One card for Libra for this 3rd week of January. Okay. Oh, we got this card. This card came up for Cancer as well. This card is vitality. So it does talk about health in the card. You know, maybe some of you are getting bad news. So, vitality. My beautiful trumpet-shaped flowers greet the sun in the summer, and in the autumn I show off my seed pods. Let me teach you how to make the most of your many talents and attributes so you can regain your vitality. So I think that, you know, it's like this is you at your best, you know, in her most glorious aspects, this Queen of Air. Even if you're a male, it doesn't matter. Like, this is feminine energy here. So it's about connecting with that feminine side of yourself, whether you're a man or a woman. And the Queen of Air, just because, you know, she has a reputation for being cold-hearted, she's really not. She does have compassion, because it takes somebody who is compassionate to speak that truth. It takes somebody who really cares and who has been through a lot of shit in her life. She's been through a lot of shit. Excuse my French, but this channel does curse, okay? She's been through a lot of crap. And she doesn't want to take crap no more. That's her. She's not taking your crap no more. That's it. She's done with your crap, right? That's what you just cut out the bullshit. And that's how you regain. You know, that's, you know, people beat the shit out of you because the Nine of Fire is the Nine of Wands in the traditional tarot is a figure who has a bandage on their head, and they're standing there with a wand in their hand like, all right, who's next? Because you were looking for a fight? Are you looking for a fight? Because it seems like everybody's always looking for a fight in that particular card. So regaining your vitality is talking about, you know, stepping into your power and being comfortable in yourself. And this owl here talks about bringing that wisdom that you've learned, all the things that you've learned, and being able to, you know, whatever knowledge that you had is now crystallizing into wisdom. And that's what they call crystallized intelligence, in fact. And you can see, like, she's sort of like crystallized. You know, like, she's got these crystals here, and it's like very icy, yes, but crystallized, right? The Catalpa's common name is a misnomer because it does not come from India, and it does not bear beans. And I'm talking back from the book about the Indian bean. Even though its pendulous seed pods look like them. When European settlers first saw the tree in the southern United States, it was growing in fields owned by Cherokee Native Americans. And its botanical name comes from the Cherokee name for the tree. The Indian bean tree is frequently planted in parks for ornamental interest because it flowers so prolifically each summer. Catalpa wood is sometimes used to make guitars. One of the best ways to heal yourself at the moment is to embrace every day with enthusiasm and do everything you can to get the most benefit from it. Treat the people you meet with respect and an open heart. Another meaning of this card: do not overlook the obvious and simple ways of healing yourself. Ensure that you have plenty of rest and sleep, and find the time to prepare and eat wholesome natural foods, regardless of how busy you may be. So I think, you know, maybe some of you are feeling like you're like, well, I'm not sick. I'm not feeling, but whatever this, you know, to heal your emotional self, sometimes if we let our emotions and we ignore this sadness and we ignore these things, they can crop up into physical ailments. So it's good not to ignore your emotional side. And maybe what this vitality is talking about is like maybe, you know, you need to just let yourself have a good cry, a good scream, whatever it is that you need to do to get out your emotional pain so that you can come back feeling like powerful again. So I'm going to just pull one of these little cards here. I've been doing this for everybody. And this is just one card. It's a little word, one word to sort of perhaps meditate on. Responsibility. And interestingly enough, it's like this Two of Wands here. holding the globe in their hand. So, perhaps you are guided by a sense of responsibility. Perhaps you have a sense of duty. And maybe people have let you down in the past. And whatever this responsibility is for you, maybe it's just to take responsibility for yourself. Stop dragging around other people's burdens. And know that you don't have to carry around their burdens, and that if everybody took some responsibility, all those burdens wouldn't be on just a few people's shoulders, right? So maybe it's time for you to be a little bit more powerful. And she knows when to say no. This queen knows when to say no. And she will say no when she needs to. And that's what you need to do. Because your health and your vitality in your life matters. And you can't change other people. You can't force other people to, be a certain way, or to, have respect or consideration. But you can do what you can do with this sense of duty and responsibility. And you can do it with your own sense of integrity. And you don't have to listen to what other people think you should do, because this woman thinks for herself. She thinks for herself. She takes care of herself. And she doesn't worry about what other people think, because she knows that she's doing right by herself and this world that she holds in her hands. And, if you've been let down by others in the past, it's on them. And it's good to remember that karma is real. And other people are responsible for their own karmic consequences. And that it's not up to you to, wish them ill. Don't be a bitter queen of air. Don't be the bitter queen of swords. But instead, learn from it and do your best. Do the best that you can as one person, right? Because that's all that you can do. So I hope that this reading makes sense to you, Libra. I hope that it helps you in some way. If you like this reading, please give it a thumbs up. Also, if you like my channel, make sure that you subscribe. If you're interested in having a personal reading with me, the information is in the box below. And if you feel like giving a small donation to this channel, that would always be helpful too. Thank you and have a great week. Bye-bye.